Now, I've always wanted to own an e-scooter of my own after seeing those Beam e-scooters in KL because they are actually pretty fun to ride, but at the same time, they are actually pretty costly to rent. They cost about 36 ringgit per hour, which just doesn't make sense to me. So here it is, I finally bought my very own first e-scooter. It is the Ninebot Max G30P. It is a very powerful e-scooter that goes up to a range of 65 kilometers and travels as fast as 30 kilometers per hour. Now, I'm really liking this scooter after riding it for almost a month. I've traveled about 70 kilometers on it and really loving it. But at the same time, I really hate owning an e-scooter in Malaysia. And let me tell you all about it.
What got me really interested in owning the KLGadget Max G30P isn't just about the convenience of getting around, but also its impressive build quality and long battery range of up to 65 kilometers. The solid metal stem measures around 2.5 feet tall and is a very comfortable height for me to grab the handlebars as I'm 5 feet 5 inches tall. The deck is also wide enough to fit 2 adults if you really want to do that, though I admit I have to work on that tummy if I were to ride comfortably with my girlfriend. There is a nice LED panel that shows you the speed and other status, and it is really bright even when used at outdoors. The white LED headlight shines bright ahead for about 6 feet of distance, while the rear brake light is bright enough to be visible even during daytime. The Max G30P is an excellent e-scooter with a decent ride performance. Like other e-scooters, you can switch between Eco mode, the regular D mode, and Sporty S mode depending on how far and fast you want to get around. It has reasonable ground clearance for handling bumps and getting off pavements despite having a big battery pack and power supply built in under the deck. The 10-inch wheels offer decent shock absorption and good handling, which I was able to ride on different road surfaces and even on the grass with a muddy ground with no issues. I usually ride on Sport mode as I prefer the more responsive throttle than the other 2 modes, and it goes up to a maximum speed of 30 km per hour, which I personally feel is more than sufficient, although I know it can be hacked to go up to 45 km per hour. On a single charge, I could get up to 35 to 40 km of range on sports mode, and that's very impressive as I tested the range with a co-rider and going up on slopes from time to time. It takes around 5 to 6 hours to get fully charged from a single battery bar. The Ninebot companion app shows the basic information of the e-scooter and has several configurations that I hardly use, including a journey tracker, which I find it totally inaccurate even when I have the app running in the background. There is a regenerative power recovery feature which could help gain slightly more battery life when you use the brakes, and the stronger you set, the brakes will get more intense, which can be a little uncomfortable for the ride. Despite having fun moments with the Max G30P, here are my problems. Transporting the Max G30P around requires quite a bit of effort, as the push lever that collapses the stem is very steep, which to be honest isn't the main issue and an entirely bad thing, but rather it is the hefty 26 kg weight that not everyone can easily handle, especially when you want to carry it around in places where e-scooters aren't allowed on the floor, such as malls in Malaysia. Also, I tried taking the e-scooter inside the train, and gosh, if our lifts here are broken, you gotta take it up to the escalator or stairs, and having it inside the train is no fun as well, as you can't lock the wheel entirely even though the feature is there in the app, which is sadly more of an anti-theft feature that limits the movement of the wheel and makes the scooter beep loudly. You also can't turn that on without powering up the scooter, which consumes a little battery. To make things even less fun of owning an e-scooter here in Malaysia, riding on the streets of KL is a complete disaster, as bicycle pavements and lanes are extremely inconsistent and limited, which I'll have to switch to the main road after a short ride, and it is very dangerous to blend into the rough city traffic. Let's not forget to mention the poor maintenance of bicycle pavements even in residential areas that can be unsafe to ride, with potholes and cracks, which is the main reason why many e-scooter riders are riding on the main road and posing a risk to other road users, because these dedicated lanes just simply can't be used, which ultimately leads to the ban of e-scooters and other micro-mobility vehicles by the Malaysian government. And I think it is extremely unfair to e-scooter owners in Malaysia, when the actual problem can be resolved by building more bicycle lanes and pavements, setting up proper ride regulations, and make us hold a license.
So there we have it. These are my thoughts about the Ninebot Max G30P. It's a really great e-scooter, and I think it's very reasonably priced at 3,000 ringgit for all the features that it has covered right over here. But like I said earlier, it doesn't make sense to own an e-scooter here in Malaysia, not unless you live in a neighborhood like this with proper bike and pedestrian lanes, because As you can see in my rides earlier on in KL and other places, the bike lanes and pedestrian walkways are just so badly maintained and they're just inconsistent. It's just like you travel shortly and the lane just goes missing like this, and it's just not fun at all. But otherwise, if you know what you're doing, it's a good investment and I recommend it. So that's pretty much about my thoughts for the Ninebot Max G30P in today's video. Thank you very much for watching. Stay tuned for more videos coming right up on our channel. Subscribe to us and I will see you guys in our next video.